My first musical memory is dancing in the living room to the Indiana Jones theme song. That's probably the first time I remember feeling any kind of physical sensation from the music. You know, it changed the room. One of my school buddies in kindergarten was having his 5th birthday party. His father had gotten him the AC/DC Live CD. What really made me interested was that my dad got really excited when he saw my friend unwrap his gift and it was an AC/DC CD. My dad thought that was so cool. So I remember going home that day, and so the first thing that I was curious about if YouTube had or not was AC/DC's music. The way he moved and just the way he expressed himself, seeing Angus Young performing made more sense to me than anything I had ever seen. And I think it still makes more sense to me than anything I've ever seen. That planted the seed, for sure.
I wasn't exposed to that much weird shit. And Angus Young, being Angus Young on stage, was the weirdest shit I had ever seen, but that's how I felt. The way that he just let himself go, it gave me permission to be myself in the best way, and it gave me permission to express myself in the way that my heart wanted to.
I think my folks saw the enthusiasm that I had for it, that for Christmas, when I was 7, I got my first electric guitar.
The guitar became my tool, and for a lot of years of my life has been my best friend and a home. I think there's a difference between influences and inspirations. Influences for artists are just kind of what come out when you sit down to do the work, and inspirations are the people and the art that inspires you to sit down and do the work in the first place. There are a lot of artists that inspire me to work that have no influence on what comes out of my subconscious, musically and artistically. And as a music producer, this group called 100 Gex, I'm very inspired by their work because to me they sound so free, so unrestricted by any kind of rules or expectations. They're an inspiration to me, but I don't think much of what they do musically ends up infiltrating my subconscious in a way that is noticeable when I'm making my own music.
I played in this after-school program jam band in North Conway, New Hampshire. That was the first time that I tried to sing.
That was my scaffolding as a child, was getting into rock and roll music, but also hip hop in so many ways, especially when it comes to rhythms and beats. I would have loved to have been a rapper as a kid, but it just didn't come through me the same way that guitar playing did. But my inspirations are almost always not rock and roll. It's always artists that are like pretty much hard to define as a single genre adhering artist. I think that's kind of the thing that ultimately I'd like to aspire to, is to just make something that sounds completely different. I'll throw a tambourine on the snare. Now for some bass. Here's the first guitar. Second. And now, everything. I said, hey, hey, baby, could you please pick me up off the ground? I got way too fucked up to make it to the couch, and there's nobody else. I feel like I get to experience life in such a rich way through music. I personally try to have a completely open mind when I sit down to make music. I never know what it's going to sound like, or if I'm writing a song, I never know what it's going to be about. So basically everything that I've written or produced thus far in my career has been completely channeling the subconscious. It just happens to be of a darker tone. You know, I learned to write music when I was a teenager with depression, which I still am dealing with. And so the music that has come out of me is usually pretty dark. I think whether we know it or not, it has a therapeutic effect to transmute pain into something cool. Someone that's feeling very lonely can almost find what feels like a friend in an album or a song that is speaking of the things that they are dealing with. I can't possibly imagine a universe that doesn't have music in it. I mean, a lot of my music is about things that I struggle with, but that's no means an intentional thing. In fact, I'm kind of over it at this point. I probably just have a couple more songs I gotta get out of me about that stuff before maybe I can start writing about the other side.